This is the Colony of Things. The work is about the duality, I guess, of everyday objects that you come across. For example, wire coat hangers in a closet, which nobody seems to like, or beach sticks, or if you're into sports, baseball. And I have a son who plays baseball, so also as an artist, I usually do my work on things from everyday life, or things that inspire me from everyday life. So this work features 13 pieces of work, and we can just start by going around. The first piece is a drawing, and this is one of 6 drawings that are featured in the show, featuring the backstory, I guess, with this is that they are the marks made by baseballs. And so I took a regular baseball, my son plays baseball, and I coated them with compressed charcoal and dropped them onto a blank page, a drawing page. And so each one of the 6 represents a Major League Baseball game from 2015, specifically the Toronto Blue Jays, in their run for the playoffs. They didn't quite get it to the World Series. So I'm fascinated by traveling around BC with my son's team at various sort of beat up ballparks and the marks left by baseball, and that fascinated me in terms of the individual marks left by a baseball have their own sort of intrinsic character or beauty. But when you put them all together on a backstop or wood or concrete, it takes on a different appearance. So that's what these are about. So this is, if you're familiar with baseball, this is the strike zone, and it's pretty much a replica, 17 inches across from mid-chest down to knee level. The dark brown is the winning pitcher from this particular game, which was Marcus Stroman versus the Baltimore Orioles. So the brown represents his 120 pitches or so, and the gray represents the other team. So that's sort of the backstory of it. But from an artistic point of view, my intent is that they work as pieces of art, and this was just the inspiration for them. So moving over to the left, this little guy, it's called Red Bull, and we'll see some bigger versions of this in a minute. But these are beach sticks, the ones that you find along Dallas Road. And so this is another aspect of items that you find as you're going around. And anybody who's picked up driftwood or drift sticks, there's a fascination with the character, the weathering of oceans. Some of these sticks, who knows, have been around the North Pacific for maybe a year or less than a year or maybe decades. And so what I do is I walk along the beach and collect the ones that are of interest to me, take them back, and I process them. That goes through a screening, collecting process, and I either stain them or paint them. And so it actually forms almost a painting surface in itself. So if you look at it from one angle, from a distance, it could be a painting, but when you get up close, it has more of a sculptural wall sculpture effect. So here, 3 more drawings, and interestingly, one of the viewers at the opening pointed out that this was one of these was replicated the game of a pitcher who retired at that year. I think it was Mark Burley, but he retired, so they said you should get in touch with him. Maybe he'd be interested in this. So it has a character, and some people viewing it will say that it has a very delicate character of almost like Japanese floral drawings. And then, so I appreciate when they sort of stand alone as art pieces. So let's swing around here, and two more. They also fit together as 6 drawings. This is the first time they've been together as a group. So there are probably 300 to 400 marks on each page representing every pitch that was in that game. And I think this was the Toronto Blue Jays run at the playoffs during 2015. So let's move over to this side. And when I put together this series called Colony of Things, I'd already done work that was in wood, sculptural wood materials. And as you can see, I've done drawings. So I hadn't done anything in metal yet, and I was just terrified of metal because. So of course I pick a project that incorporates metal clothes hangers, which everybody seems to want to get out of their closet as fast as possible. So I had no trouble collecting them. I just put out an ad saying, please send me your coat hangers. So this project was done in the early part of 2017. It's basically what I'm doing is taking an individual object such as a coat hanger, taking it apart, stretching it out, and it takes on its own unique character when you take the shape. You transform its original purpose and repurpose it to something else. What I didn't realize, which makes it a bit unique, is that coat hangers, when you're bending them, are really tough to work with, and they get after you've done about 20 of them, doing this sort of needle point in an old rusty mesh. It gets very tiring. What I like about it is that again, each metal coat hanger has its own character, but put together en masse as a sculpture, takes on a different personality, perhaps a different meaning. So again, we have this duality of the individual and then a collective of objects. So let's move over to the 2 real big pieces. And both of these I've worked on over the last year and a half. And the piece on the right, it has, probably around 1,200 beach sticks in them. And again, this fits into the theme of, you can just sort of see the assortment of like individual sticks that one would find on a beach after winter storms. Winter is the best time I have found to collect them because the ocean throws these up through tides and storms onto the beach. And so I purposely collected ones that had a nice quality of a weathering to them versus sticks that had been snapped violently off, that don't have the same character to me. Same history, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so the piece on the left, in similar style, almost was, in the back of my mind, I was trying to do something that was complementary to this, that kind of fit. This one was square with a sort of a sunken, circular, almost crater-like appearance, whereas this one looked more like the cross-section. This is the first time these two have ever been together, so that intrigued me as well, because now there's sort of a dialogue going on in between the two. And what more can I say? Both of these were a labor of love. Like you might look at this and say, oh, there's another artist. This must have taken, this is hard work, a lot of boring, monotonous work, but In contrast, well, there's nothing boring about walking on the beach. So that was fun, just carrying my shopping bags along the beach. I got a lot of helpful comments doing that. Taking them back, processing them, cutting them, and then actually building them in my studio on tables. I felt like some days I was like a kid working with Lego, because it's fun just assembling them the way you, whatever way your inclination is. So they're big pieces. I like doing big things that look dramatic, and I think put 1,200 sticks there and maybe 800 or so there has a different quality when it's very large. These last three pieces are new within the last couple of weeks, and this represents, I think, what a direction I'm going to go in. I've done the wall sculptures and drawings on the wall, and some metal wall sculptures. So I've always loved to do, and most artists love doing collages. And so this is a continuation. The inspiration of doing a colony of things with individual objects has moved me into doing something a little that's less strenuous on your body, such as the metal sculptures. So, but it's in the same sort of same vein of many objects. And when I first was painting the sticks using spray paint through failure, and most artists do a lot of really good work after failing several times, and I'm no exception. But when I was painting them, it was doing a very poor job, so I abandoned that. But when I took the sticks off the page, it left almost a masking effect with a little sort of trail, like a comet trail. And that shape intrigued me, and I'd done a lot of collage in the past. And so I wanted to continue in that direction. Some of this work is just a tentative foray into continuing colony of things with collage. But I think these three represent a portal of work that I'll be trying over the next several months. And I'll be developing this either as individuals or one large piece, I'm not sure. One, I suppose, interesting thing about these is that artists will keep some of the work. Some artists keep a lot of their work, even the work that they're not happy with, they consider it unsuccessful, and it goes in the basement, and just hold on to them, and you never know when they're going to come back and take on a second life. Well, these three represent are composed of several drawings and collages that I've done in the past that I didn't like, but I brought them back and resurrected them, and they form a nice texture and another layer of information behind what you see on the surface. And things such as torn edges, and that's just part of the whole thing. So this represents where I'm going.